The president held his first rally since the pandemic began last night. What was your response to his remarks?
You know, Jake, like so many people across this country, my first response was that I hope that this is a preview for November. That finally people are recognizing that this man is a danger to our country, a danger to our democracy, and he should not be the president of the United States of America. That rally was an embarrassment. It was absolutely what the nation does not need right now. He did not speak about healing. He did not recognize any of the racial tensions that are happening across our country. Instead, he does what he always does. He continues to try and divide us and really inflames the worst in people. And so I just hope that this is a good sign that the country is moving on from him.
He did talk about how before the pandemic, black unemployment had gone down the most in history, and he did. There was some mention of black Americans in the United States. In his defense, that didn't ring true to you.
Jake, there are 20 million Americans who are out of work right now. So whatever happened before the pandemic is probably not resonating with the people who are trying to figure out how they will pay their rent and put food on their table. Again, this man has just a complete and blatant disregard for the past, present, and for the future. The fact that he was even in Oklahoma during the Juneteenth celebration, the site of the worst racial massacre in this country's history. I mean, it speaks to who he is. No recognition and concern that where we are with COVID-19, and no concern about what it would mean for people who are gathering in these large numbers. He doesn't get it, and he is giving us the best that he has. And so when you know that over 120,000 people have lost their lives to COVID, and you dare speak that you have said slow down the testing,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
insane to me that, go ahead.
you heard Peter Navarro say the president was speaking tongue in cheek about that.
This is no time to joke. Even if it were a joke, which it was not, it was an inappropriate joke. Do you think the people, the
Oh,
120,000 families out there who are missing their loved ones, thought it was funny?
let's turn to the death of Rayshard Brooks. The former officer accused of killing Brooks has been charged with felony murder, and the second officer at the scene faces an aggravated assault charge. The Atlanta interim police chief, Rodney Bryant, announced yesterday that 9 police officers have resigned this month already, and many other officers have been calling in sick with the so-called blue flu in protest of what's going on. What's your message to the policemen and women of Atlanta?
My message to our officers is that this is not about division from our public safety personnel. We value our officers in Atlanta, but this continues to be about where we are in this country and making sure that we don't have people who are part of our force who are not respectful of our communities. The loss of Rayshard Brooks and his killing was a tragedy, not just in the city, but for the country as a whole. And I think that to the extent that there is an attempt to divide us from public safety in this country, I think it's very dangerous. But I also recognize that our communities are hurting and our officers are hurting. And so, in the same way, our demonstrators need an opportunity to vent and to express their frustration and their concern. I understand that our officers need the opportunity to do that as well. But as mayor and as a city, I think we owe it to our communities and to our officers to make sure that they have the training that they need, that they are appropriately trained in de-escalation techniques, and so that they are equipped
Mm.
to work alongside our communities in the way that we need and expect them to.
Mayor, I want to turn to politics for a sec. Vice President Joe Biden has said that his first criteria for picking a running mate is that the person be ready on day one to be president of the United States. You are a contender to become Joe Biden's vice presidential nominee. Are you ready on day one to be president of the United States?
Yes, but I also think that Joe Biden has the right to pick whomever he wants to work alongside him and to serve as his vice president. And I think that he knows better than anyone else in this country what that role should be and who that person should be. But there's been no handbook for so many mayors and so many governors across this country dealing with COVID-19, and now with the demonstrations that we are seeing about around the country. I think that there has been a response to crisis that not many people have been tested in this way, in the same way that leaders across this country have been over the past several months.
All right, Mayor Bottoms, thank you so much for your time and good luck with everything going on in Atlanta these days. We appreciate it.